What's up, dude? Yes, you're right. I am indeed late. I'm here though. Took me a second to get set up. How you doing, man? You want to know something I'm starting to realize? I literally just made a whole ass video talking about this. So, you know how we all talk about, it's really popular these days talking about dopamine detoxing, where we stop using our phone, or we stop scrolling so much, or we stop watching shit we shouldn't, if you know what I mean, or we stop eating junk food and that stuff. We do these dopamine detoxes where we stop engaging in the things that result in these like really quick dopamine hits and shit, or like another one is like people that have like dating apps and stuff like this where they're like constantly engaging with watching and like seeing if they're getting matches and stuff. Hey Chachi, what's up? You're gonna appreciate what I'm sharing right now. So this whole dopamine detox culture, that's good. It's good to detox from dopamine because we live in a culture now where dopamine is something we're all so addicted to, whether it's drugs or scrolling or dating apps or porn or junk food, whatever your thing is. A lot of us are addicted to these dopamine hits, and so it's created this dopamine detox thing. Like, think about scrolling, for example. That's just constant dopamine hits. I've started to realize that dopamine detoxing is good, but if you don't have a supplemental alternative to replace the dopamine that you're detoxing yourself from, you're just going to end up back in the cycle of being addicted to that short candy bar now. Like the short candy bar now or the long candy bar later. A lot of us end up taking the short candy bar now. If you don't have something in your life and you don't have a system in your life built around lasting, genuine fulfillment, your dopamine detox, yeah, it's going to bring you back down to a sort of natural baseline, but then because we're naturally pleasure-oriented beings, we're just going to get back on that shit. We're going to get back into the things that we were detoxing from. And what I've started to realize is that what we need to begin investing in is, rather than dopamine detoxing, we need to start doing something that I call serotonin maxing. You guys ever heard of serotonin? Serotonin is what you're actually looking for. Serotonin is a completely different neurotransmitter, natural, with a completely different vibe, a completely different energy, a completely different style to it, where dopamine is this short-lived, immediate rush that spikes and then crashes, whereas something like serotonin is this slow-moving, slow-building sense of genuine fulfillment. Serotonin is the thing that you want to begin optimizing in your life, where when you're addicted to dopamine, this is what your life looks like. You go up, you plateau, and then you crash. And then when you crash, you're deprived of the dopamine, so you need to do something else to bring you up. So you engage in another bad habit, and you get another dirty dopamine high by doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. And then you go up, plateau, crash, and you get addicted to that cycle. But when you start thinking in the sense of serotonin, which comes not through eating junk food, not through scrolling, not through hookup culture and sex and porn, not through junk food, not through buying shit all the time, serotonin is something that you build progressively in your life. Think like when you have a long day at work and you come home and you're tired, but you feel good, that's serotonin. Notice that it's not this wildly thrilling, exhilarating, euphoric rush. It's this general feeling of peace, this general feeling of contentment, of relaxation. Or you think sitting on the porch, sipping coffee first thing in the morning, or out on a nature walk. Or you think, like in the context of relationships, that honeymoon phase is often characterized by surges and crashes in dopamine. Whereas the long run of a relationship, a long-term, committed, healthy, loving relationship, that is serotonin based. That is based through slowly cultivating genuine contentment and peace and joy, you know? Or you think about going on a hike. Usually when we're on a hike, I don't know about you, but this is the way that I've thought about it before. When you're hiking, your eyes are on where you're going. And you want to know what's driving you there? Dopamine. Dopamine is driving you up to the top of that mountain. And a lot of us we go on the hike and we're like, I want to get to the top of the mountain. Next thing we know, we've blown through the hike. We've gone through the whole hike. We're at the top of the mountain. And then what do you think? There's this little plateau, like I was describing, this little moment up at the top of the mountain where we're like, wow, this is cool. And since we're so pumped up on dopamine, the next and immediate thing that you think is, we got to get back down. We got to go down. All right, let's get down. That becomes the next strive. But see, serotonin works in an entirely different way. Serotonin is the thing that stops and smells the flowers. Serotonin is the thing that slowly enjoys the process. You can think of it that serotonin is the thing that is enjoying the hike. Dopamine is the thing you're like, I want to get here. Serotonin is the thing that says, I'm enjoying now, you know? And here's the deceiving nature of dopamine. It doesn't actually feel good. When was the last time you got lasting fulfillment? Manifest a beer and the manifest a beer and the beer will become possible. I love it. I'm manifesting, bro. Tell me more about that because I want to talk about manifestation in a moment here because I love manifestation. It's something I'm actively studying and engaging in my life. And I actually experienced something really interesting that I want to share with you guys. But I want to finish this thread that I'm on of the dopamine serotonin thing. Dopamine doesn't actually give you what you're looking for. Dopamine gives you a short-lived rush that is sure to crash, that you're going to have to bounce back from. And that's what creates the constant chase of the dragon. You know? When was the last time you scrolled your way to contentment? When was the last time you had so much sex that you were finally fulfilled? When was the last time that you bought something online and you got that little surge that you were like, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to do this as much anymore. You know? Dopamine is that thing that goes strive, get. Okay, now that I have it, what am I striving for now? It's this constant, and the thing is, with dopamine, you don't progress. You stay at this constant up, down, up, down. You constantly peak, crash, peak, crash, peak, crash. Whereas serotonergic-based fulfillment, serotonergic-based joy and contentment is something where, dopamine goes, Serotonin is slow and it's wavy and it builds. Serotonin is what you're looking for. You know how, I literally saw a post just the other day of, it was this older person talking about, or no, it was just this general, like inspirational quote or whatever. And it was saying, I'm no longer interested in all this crazy stuff anymore. What I'm looking for is peace and love and a lasting relationship. I forget exactly what it was describing, but it was talking about, I'm not looking for the rush anymore. I'm looking for fulfillment. I'm looking for joy. Sipping coffee on the porch in the morning next to somebody who I'm riding through this life with. And you want to know what's funny is when I saw that post, I said, that's just it. That's moving from a dopaminergic lifestyle to a serotonergic lifestyle where you begin to understand dopamine is just this constant up, down, up, down. Serotonin is the thing that actually builds fulfillment in your life. You know? Think about SSRIs, for example. SSRI is a medication that's used with people who are clinically depressed and this kind of stuff. And what SSRI means is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Now, what that does is we've assumed clinically that, our depression must be being caused by a lack of serotonin. Notice how it's not a lack of dopamine. It's a lack of serotonin, where your general state is under the weather. Your general state is not enough serotonin, so therefore, the correlation that we've made in science is you don't feel good. Even if you engage in drugs and sex and scrolling and junk food, it doesn't get you up to where you want to be, because where you want to be is based off of serotonin, not dopamine chasing. So we prescribe the individual SSRIs. And what that does is, it's an interesting thing. It releases serotonin in your body, but then what it does is it blocks it out. It doesn't allow it to be reuptaked, meaning to be metabolized by your body. So it dumps serotonin into you, a gauged amount, and then it holds it there. So it brings you up, but it also doesn't let you go any higher. So when you're depressed and you're on SSRIs, it gives you this general feeling of well-being, which your mind may very well see past, right? Gives you this general feeling of well-being, but it doesn't allow you to go any more past that. It doesn't allow you to drop, and it also doesn't allow you to go up past it. So when you're on SSRIs, beautiful thing, the birth of a child, or a beautiful hike, or pursuing a goal or a dream that you have in your life, it's not going to allow you to experience that evergreen effect of a serotonergically based lifestyle where you're growing and cultivating that contentment more and more and more and more. My beautiful mother is here. I'm literally talking about SSRIs right now and how they kind of keep you at this like medium, you know? And what's interesting is you've shared your experience with SSRIs where, you know, my mom, the spiritual witch, that's my literal mom, by the way, she was on SSRIs and she felt, I don't want to be on SSRIs. So what she did was she slowly weaned off, you know, which the doctor don't want because they want you to keep going and getting that script, you know? She weaned herself off of the SSRIs, and I remember her describing, Squirrel Sniper, I'm so glad you're here, man. It's so good to see you, bro. She described, yeah, it was terribly numbing, exactly. That's what I was just describing, is it keeps you at this point, but you can't drop below it and you can't go above it. It gives you a little bit of contentment, but that's all you're getting. You can't go any further past that. So my mom weaned off of the SSRIs, and what resulted from that is she was able to tap back into the full spectrum of her emotions. And I remember when she stopped taking these SSRIs, dude, we would be talking, hanging out, and she would go from laughing to crying to really interested to really focused to laughing to deeply invested in talking to crying, and like she was feeling everything. She was riding the wave of the full spectrum of her emotions, which the SSRIs do not allow you to feel. They keep you at this point and then they don't let you budge from that, you know? And what we want to do, guys, is we want to stop being addicted to dopamine. That's easier said than done. And I think a lot of us understand this. It felt so good to cry again. Exactly. I was prescribed SSRIs. I did not notice much of a difference in the state of mind. I stopped taking those too. That's good, especially if you didn't notice any sort of particular change, you know? I feel like we want medications to be the last thing that we go to. The first thing that we should focus on is how we're living our life. What do you do every day? Do you get enough sleep? Do you get enough fresh air? Do you drink enough water? Do you get enough sunlight? Do you have a job that is fucking debilitating for your mental health? What are the thoughts that fill your mind? How do you talk about yourself? How do you talk about the world? Do you have a direction? Do you have a goal or something that you're building in your life? What's the relationship you're in? That's the stuff we need to investigate and inquire into before we consider taking substances to then give us the fulfillment that we're looking for. You know? I always wonder how that felt. What exactly? I've manifested something wonderful. I'm having my research peer-reviewed by the Alan Turing Institute at the moment. What is that? Expand on that a little more. Manifesting is a claim that relies on heightened sensory processing and cognitive priming, transforming perceived coincidences into actionable insights. Facts, dude. That's a beautiful way to describe it. By observing intuition and synchronicities, you leverage your brain's selective attention to filter environmental data for goal-directed patterns. Yeah, dude, that you're nailing it. You're describing it in a very good way. It's beautiful. If you've ever heard of the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, what he describes is that our mind and body works like a heat-seeking missile, and you, which is not your mind and body, feed prompts into the mind and body. Where, like think of this, for example. I have my water bottle right here, and the prompt that I feed into my mind and body is pick up the water bottle. So, I pick up the water bottle. I don't know how my mind and body did that. I fed in the prompt, and my mind and body knows how to do it. And your mind and body work synergistically together to get you to the goal that you've put in to the mind and body. You think about, like, a heat-seeking missile uses all these coordinations to stay on track with the designated target that it's going after. And you think about, like, when we were babies, we would reach for something, but we were very clumsy and very uncoordinated. That's because even though we had the prompt, the very clear prompt of, I want to grab the water bottle, our mind and body was still developing and didn't know how to didn't know how to track itself to pick up the water bottle. And, as we age, our mind and body become very more coordinated, where we're able to get ourselves to where we want to be. And you don't have to do it. In the same way, you don't know how your muscles are working to get you to the water bottle to pick it up. All you did was say, pick up the water bottle, and your mind and body work together to make that a reality. Now, the question is, what if that's the same thing with our goals? What if we can say, I want to build my own business, or I want to become physically fit, or I want to whatever your thing is. I want to become a musician. I want to become a content creator. For example, you feed that in to your mind and body, and your mind and body begin working towards it. But the dilemma, the problem in this is that we begin feeding in doubt. We don't believe in our mind and body. We don't believe that it's possible to get to where we want to be. We don't believe it's possible to be physically fit, or to bring about a loving relationship, or to build out our own business and we can quit our job or whatever. We don't believe it's possible. So what we start feeding into the mind and body is precisely, it's not possible. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. I don't have what it takes. And so your mind and body listen accordingly. They respond accordingly, and your goal becomes your doubt. That's the far out part. Your goal becomes your lack of faith. So you say, I don't think it's possible, and your mind and body go, okay, I don't think it's possible. So your mind and body start malfunctioning to make the it's not possible a reality, But if you feed in, we're going to make this happen, let's make this happen, it's going to happen, I'm going to do it, that's the energy that you prime your mind and body with, and they work together to get you there. And you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is hold true to the thing that you want. You know what I mean? You have to stay strong to that goal that you have, and keep that frame held, and your mind and body maneuvers itself to get there. It's beautiful. I've bypassed the binary limitations logic using hex language program. What the hell is that? I've been posting my research, all connected through synchronicity. So on the train of manifestation, I experienced something really interesting. So if you're involved with manifestation to any extent, you've probably heard of Neville Goddard. He was like a huge proponent and teacher on manifestation. And I was listening to him literally just last night, and he in the lecture, he gave the crowd, the audience, a challenge. He said, what I want you to do is, when you're going to bed right now, hold on, I gotta ban this brain rot degenerate. Yeah, thank you, bro. he said to the crowd, he said, what I want you to do is when you go to bed tonight, I want you to lay in bed, and as you're falling asleep, I want you to visualize yourself climbing a ladder. You visualize very vividly grabbing the rungs of the ladder and putting your left foot and then your right foot and climbing the ladder. I want you to visualize very intensely, very vividly climbing this ladder, and do it until you fall asleep. And then he says, when you wake up, what I want you to do is insist that you will not climb a ladder throughout the day. You wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. And what he said was, good luck not ending up on a ladder. Good luck not climbing a ladder. What he was stating was, that was the challenge, is when you're going to bed tonight, visualize yourself climbing a ladder, and then in the daytime, say, I will not climb a ladder, and try not to end up on a ladder. And, you know, a couple days later, he's giving a lecture again, and he says to the audience, which one of you ended up on a ladder? And a bunch of people raised their hands. And he called on one of them, and the gentleman started describing how he took Neville's experiment really seriously, and he vividly imagined climbing a ladder at night as he was falling asleep. And then when he woke up in the morning, he stated, I will not climb a ladder. I'm not going to end up on a ladder. It's not going to happen. And lo and behold, he suddenly came to awareness, and he was on a ladder. And what had happened was his dad, who was old and not physically able or whatever, had asked him, he said, hey, do you mind getting this thing on the top shelf for me or whatever? And the guy was like, yeah, sure, I got you. And he grabbed a step ladder and went up to grab the thing that his dad had asked him to get. And it clicked. He said, oh my God, I'm on a fucking ladder. It happened. I told myself I'm not going to end up on a ladder, and here I am standing on a ladder, you know? So I thought that was really interesting. And so I listened to that last night and didn't do the experiment to any great extent. I was like, that's interesting, you know? And I kind of, while I was listening to it, I kind of imagined the climbing of the ladder, visualization stuff. But guys, get this. This morning at work, literally, I listened to this thing last night. This morning at work, I went to go and grab something from a coworker, and next thing I know, one of my coworkers is walking towards me, and she started talking to me, and she's holding a stepladder. She was holding a stepladder, and I literally thought she was about to ask me, yo, Devin, do you mind getting this thing for me? And I literally, like, sort of reeled back in, like, oh my God. Like, it was uncanny. It was very serendipitous. It was very synchronistic. Like, I did that exercise just the littlest bit last night, imagining the climbing of the ladder, and then throughout the day going, I won't climb a ladder. I just imagined it. And then this morning, my coworker is walking towards me, talking to me, holding a stepladder. And it was like a whoa moment. It was like eerie. It was like, what the fuck? You know? Now, I didn't climb the ladder, and I also didn't do the experiment to any great extent, but you got to admit that's kind of weird. You know? You got to admit that's a little weird. I will try to imagine something other than a ladder, maybe a cup of tea or coffee. Well, I mean, the ladder thing is very specific because it's kind of unusual. Like, do you drink tea or coffee? Let me give you guys that experiment. You do it yourself. If you remember it and you just listen to that and that sounds fascinating, try it out yourself tonight. As you're falling to sleep, just, you know, what better do you have to do than something like this while you're falling asleep? Visualize yourself climbing the ladder. And then when you wake up tomorrow morning, insist and state to yourself, I will not climb a ladder. You know, I will not end up on a ladder. You know? And as the experiment goes, as it's demonstrated and described, because of your intense visualization and imagination, that will precipitate that outcome in your life. whether it be quickly or whatever. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Like, we don't know how this reality works. We don't know what brings about the circumstances in our life. And imagine, funny enough, that your imagination itself is what is bringing about the experiences in your life. You know? The external world, think of the external world as like a shadow being cast by your internal state. And the state, like, think about that for a moment. That the external 3D world is a shadow that's being cast by your internal state. The state that you're most predominantly occupying is what projects and materializes the circumstances of your 3D world. Where if you think to yourself a particular thing and you imagine it with vividness and intensity and belief as well, when you imagine it intensely and you believe in it intensely, it hardens in your external reality. It precipitates responses in your external world. Where, like, you think to yourself, I'm going to get a new job. I'm going to get a new job, and it's going to be better than the job I have right now. And so you hold true to that frame. You believe, I'm going to get a better job, and it's going to be better than the one I have now. Now you're starting to prime your mind and body to begin looking through that aperture of belief. And you're going to start seeing the opportunities that will bring about that reality. You may even, it's so far out, you may even be offered a job or opportunity that you otherwise wouldn't have recognized, or you'll see a job opportunity that you wouldn't have otherwise recognized because you're occupying that state of belief that you're going to find that new job. And next thing you know, because you're holding true to that frame and to that energy, because you're occupying that state to such an intense degree, you begin naturally and spontaneously taking the actions on the outside that bring about that reality. You know? When you change the way you feel inside and you hold true to a different identity, to a different belief, to a different direction, your entire life will begin to reorient itself to fit that narrative that you're holding true to within. Like, where I am right now is a literal example of that. You know? Like, I live on my own right now, and I never lived on my own before, and over the past year, there was this very interesting and very powerful chain of events that happened where I had to become somebody who can live on his own. I had to. I was going to be homeless if I didn't, where I lived with my grandfather and he slowly passed away, and I didn't have like a lot of money at the time. I didn't think it was possible to live on my own. I almost knew this isn't possible. But because of the circumstances of my life and I have to find somewhere to live, it had to become possible. I had to become somebody to which it's possible, And so I started living as somebody where it's possible to live on my own. And at first, I was very scared and I was very hesitant, and the only kind of places I was reaching out to as far as like where to live were places that were like really cheap. Places that were like super low monthly rent. Because I'm thinking, I can only handle this amount per month. I can't possibly handle any more than that, But then I started to lean into this energy of, no, I can I got this. I became a new person. I started occupying a different identity. I started occupying the energy of somebody who lives on his own, And rather than going, I'm gonna live on my own, but I can only afford this. I said, no, I can afford this, dude. I'm gonna go for a place that's more than what I think I can afford. And so by doing so, naturally, that opened up more opportunities for me because, not a lot of places are super cheap. So I started looking and searching through places that were beyond my means or what I imagined to be beyond my means. And what's really interesting is like when I did the math, this wasn't possible. When I did the math of where I work and how much I work, or how many hours I work and how much I make per month and per week and all this shit, the math didn't line up. I could only afford this amount. So I thought. But I refused to believe that. I went out on a limb, I took a sort of leap of faith and said, I'm gonna find somewhere that's out beyond my means. I'm gonna move into a place that I don't think I can live at. And that broadened the opportunities, and I found this place, which was here, and I came and I visited and I talked to him, and he said, can you afford this? And I said, yes, I can. I got it. And I signed the thing. I moved all my shit in, and it's more than possible somehow. That's the really interesting thing. Is like I said, when I did the math, it didn't make sense. I should be living on scrids and bare minimum, but somehow I have a surplus of finances, and it's building, it's growing. I'm saving more than I've ever saved before somehow, and I'm having to completely like provide for myself of working and groceries and rent and all the stuff needed to accommodate living on your own and stuff, and somehow I'm saving more and more and more and more money. It's really strange. It's really strange. And what if it has to do with not the gross level of circumstances of I make this much per month, this will cost this much, then there's this and all these bills and this subscription, and so therefore I can only afford. What if it's not that like concrete? What if it's not that solid? What if by living beyond your means, you have the ability to grow and expand to those means? Like when you live beyond your means, your new means become that which you're living at. You see what I'm saying? When you do something that you don't think you're able to do, you end up becoming able to do it. It's about just being happy and using that energy. Man, that's so true. That's so true. I experienced a wave of that energy today. And, it's the energy that I try and work towards occupying the most is gratitude and love and excitement and fulfillment and prosperity and abundance. Think of I don't live like I'm running on fumes. I don't live like I'm living on bare minimum. And I'm also not a super extravagant, frugal person, where I don't buy shit like crazy. I don't go out to eat every night. But when I feel like going out to eat, I go out and eat, because when I feel like going out to eat and I think to myself, oh, gee, I can't afford that. That just feeds that energy back into the system and it says, I can't afford that, right? That's the energy that it builds. Bruh. Dude, look. Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much. Just like that. Poof. Money. It's so beautiful. I love you guys so fucking much. Thank you so much, Sonia. That's what I'm saying. I just got $23. I can go out to eat with that, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't act afraid to take these actions. Like, if I want to travel somewhere, I just do it. If I want to go out to eat, I just do it. If there's something that I want to buy, I just get it. And I don't worry. And obviously, I'm not irresponsible. I'm not like going out to eat every weekend and buying all sorts of shit. I'm not an idiot. I'm mature with my money and responsible with my money, but I don't allow myself to live in the energy that I don't have what it takes. I believe I can do this. I got this. It's fine. And interestingly enough, there's just a surplus of money that's available to me. And it's almost like that money is available to me because I occupy the energy that it is. You know what I mean? It's very interesting stuff, guys. Very interesting stuff where living beyond your means is the way that you grow. If you just stay in your comfort zone. Like, before I lived here, my comfort zone was living with my grandfather and not paying any bills, to be completely transparent. I didn't pay anything. You know, I bought my own stuff. Oh my God, bro. Dude, I fucking love you guys so much. That's coming back to you, mama. I hope you know that. That's coming back to you. That's crazy. Been creeping in the background. Sciatica making me miserable, so I decided to spread some hope and luck instead of feel sorry for myself. What? A sciatica? What is... I've heard of that. I don't know what that is. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I feel like that's probably painful as fuck. Isn't that something with your back? Mama, thank you so much, for real. That's incredible. My mom just donated me $20. I love it so much. Oscar, what's good, man? Sometimes I put on a suit and I embody a more efficient person. They did studies showing people wearing lab coats got higher scores on IQ tests. It's a more physical way of doing what you talk about. 100%, man. Absolutely. You're presuming that that's who you are. You're dressing yourself like that, and that sort of causes you to become that person. It's very interesting. Like, when you act like that person, when you assume you are that person, and you live as though that's who you are, that's who you become. That's how you change your self-image. Like, when you live in a neat, tidy, clean environment, that bleeds into you. And you begin to feel neat, tidy, clean, efficient, you know? That's so true, man. Like, another example of this that I do in my life is, like, on the weekends, dude, I live my life. I live as though I'm, like, a millionaire. Like, I think, feel, and act like that, you know? Where, no, I'm not out buying crazy shit and, like, doing wild, extravagant stuff, but I feel rich. I feel grateful. I feel fulfilled, you know? And, like, when I go out and do shit, like, I drive around and I dress up, I wear nice clothes, and I feel good about myself, and I feel clean and sophisticated and modest, and I go about my day as though I'm, like, who I want to be. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm all that, you know? And not in an arrogant way at all, but in a way of feeling fulfilled with who I am and loving myself and feeling proud of myself, you know? And that's exactly what Oscar's talking about, is by wearing the suit, you become that person, you know? Where if you act like the person you want to be, you become that person. You become what you think about. You become how you act. Are you a millionaire for real? On paper, no. No, I'm not. You know, there's a beautiful quote, though. I do want to state this in regard to the whole are you a millionaire thing. There's a quote, I think it's from Jim Rohn. He says, how does he say it? Pray that you don't have $1 million before you're a millionaire. Now, you hear that and you're like, what the hell does that mean? What he's saying is that having $1 million and being a millionaire are two very different things. Somebody who's not a millionaire can have $1 million, and because their identity level, because their self-image isn't that of being a millionaire. When they get the $1 million, they think, well, the point now is to blow it because I'm not a millionaire and I have $1 million, so I might as well spend it and get rid of it. And the reason that happens is to come back into equilibrium with who they see themselves to be, as in somebody who's not a millionaire, somebody who struggles financially. And you were just given $1 million and you got rid of it because it wasn't congruent with your self-image. But being a millionaire is not about how much money you have. Being a millionaire is about the energy and the identity that you embody. Where a millionaire is somebody who, by having $1 million, they know how to keep it. They know how to grow it and compound it. They know how to invest it. They know how to save it. They know how to work with money, because that's what a millionaire is. It's somebody who knows how to make millions, save millions, and spend millions. You know what I'm saying? Being a millionaire is far different than just having $1 million. And the idea is, if you get that level of prosperity on the outside before you've leveled up your identity to be somebody who can withstand and hold that level of abundance, you're not going to be able to sustain it. You're going to come back down into equilibrium with who you see yourself to be, even if that means spending all the money. Whereas if you practice living from the energy of fulfillment and abundance and prosperity, and also practicing and learning about finances and how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money, all this kind of stuff, that's the identity that allows millions to not only come into your life, but to also be sustained, you know? It's funny, I am a millionaire, but nobody can tell. I drive a Honda. Are you actually? You know you are in a good place when you think if someone handed you $1 million, it wouldn't change who you are fundamentally. Exactly. And that's also a good sign that you're already living in the energy of somebody who can very well have the $1 million. You know, you ask somebody, like if I ask you guys, what would you do if I gave you $1 million? The funny thing is, a lot of people think I'd spend it. That's what a lot of people think. They think the point of money is to spend it, you know? But what if the point of money is to level up your life and to become a different person and to live on a different level? You know, if you get $1 million, the point isn't to spend that shit, because you're just going to collapse back down into the person who doesn't have $1 million. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people think, if I have a bunch of money, I need to spend all that money. No, if you have a bunch of money, that's what you use as like a catalyst to become somebody who can not only spend that money, but make that money back and build that money and compound that money, you know? It's really interesting thing. Money is just an energy, man. I can't walk. I will be okay. Just a flick. God damn, bro. You can't walk. You really need some support emotionally, and not everyone has it. In your case, I guess it is your mom who kind of believes in you. Will you be able to hold some positivity without having that emotional support? Yes. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Emotional support from peers and friends and partners and family is beautiful. It's beautiful, and it is an absolute blessing to have in your life. But I will say that your fulfillment and your positivity is not contingent on it. Your positivity is independent of that emotional support, where you don't need, by the way, that Chase Endorphins, that's Shachi, by the way. That's Sequindesh. She just changed her username. You don't need the emotional support in order to feel the positivity. It's nice. It's a beautiful reflection of the energy that you're embodying in your life, you know, but you don't need it. Your positivity is not dependent on anything anybody on the outside does, you know? The point of money is being able to do as I please when I want. It's not the toys and the cars. So are you actually a millionaire? That's pretty cool. How did you become a millionaire? And yeah, to me, the point of money is kind of like you said, to be able to do as I please when I want. Like I I want to be more financially abundant so that I can, first of all, not have to work my weekly job where I do 40 hours a week. That's the first thing, is to not have to do that, and to be able to reallocate all my time into YouTube and coaching and building what I'm building right now. That's really the point for me right now, is to be able to go full time working on YouTube, you know? But yeah, the real point is to be able to spend more time doing what I love, to spend more time with the people I love, you know? And yeah, to be able to do as I please. Not live like an idiot, not go out and do wild irresponsible shit just because I have money, you know? But to be able to live my life on my own terms. I invested since I was young, built a business in the early internet, sold it and reinvested it. Oh, dude, I love it. I love that so much. Well, congratulations, man. What would be, okay, as a millionaire here in the chat, what's your one piece of advice to people who want to have more money in their life? What would be your one piece of advice? Once you hit your first million, the second, third, etc. are easier. Yeah, I've absolutely heard that before. I've even heard it described on a smaller scale of like, once you make your first $100,000, then it becomes more and more and more easier to get to that point and to compound that again and again and again. I got a lotto ticket for tomorrow. Let's see if I am grounded enough by now to be chosen for it. I have had so much personal growth. I know I am already living someone else's dream, though. So I know I am blessed already. I know what you mean. The lotto ticket. Sonia, I want your energy with the cafe. I really hope that holds up. Live below your means. Interesting. Save. Don't waste it on cars and swimming pools. I love it. Yeah, see, energetically speaking, it's funny because I teach the complete opposite. I share about living beyond your means, but not like in what you're talking about is in being responsible, not being an idiot, you know, not blowing your money and being frugal on shit you don't need. But what I'm talking about when I say to live beyond your means is talking about the thing you're afraid to do, the thing you don't think you're capable of, the goal that you don't think is possible for little old you is more than possible. And in order to realize it, in order to become somebody who's realized that dream, in order to become somebody who's capable of doing that thing, you need to live beyond the current capacity, what you think your current capacity is. You need to push the envelope. You need to be willing to go into the unknown. You need to be willing to feel uncomfortable. Like, you know, all the talk of imposter syndrome is really interesting. Like, a lot of people who begin pursuing a new direction in their life, where they start doing something they've never done before, they get the imposter syndrome feeling, where they feel, who the hell? I've even experienced it with coaching and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. You feel, who am I to be doing this? This isn't who I am. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not cut out for this. But imposter syndrome, I've learned, is a good thing, because what it's signaling is that you're living out beyond your current self-image. You're living out beyond your current identity structure. And the uncomfortable feelings you get of imposter syndrome, what that is that's the version of you that's in their comfort zone saying, don't get too big for your boots. Come back down to who you really are. You know you don't have what it takes to be doing this. This isn't who you are. Come back to where it's safe. Come back to playing small, where you know that your life is safe, cozy, and predictable, because what you're doing right now, we don't know where it's headed. You're probably not capable of it. You don't know what you're doing. You don't have what it takes. So the presence of that imposter syndrome it should excite you because it's signaling to you that you're living out beyond who you see yourself to be. You're engaging in something that's greater than what you think you're capable of. And that is precisely the medium that you need to be in order to become somebody who is capable of that current thing you're feeling imposter syndrome about. Imposter syndrome goes away because there's a delay before who you are matches up with what you're doing in your life. And if you cave and fold under the pressure of the imposter syndrome and go back to who you've always been, you never grow. But if you hold true to that new identity, that new version of yourself, the imposter syndrome tries to signal you, the ego is trying to get you to come back to the comfort zone because it wants you to survive, but it doesn't really feel safe thriving. If you hold true to that new identity, eventually your ego, your identity, your self-image rather, matches up with where you're living from. You know? So it is holding strong. Yeah, what's the deal with that right now? Is there any new information in that regard? Sonia, your loving and giving energy only generates that type of energy towards you. Facts. Thank you, beautiful mama. The same absolutely goes for you. Dude, I'm loving the energy of this live stream and this chat right now. It feels really good. I love you guys so much. So much. This energy, it's like a shared energy right now, and it feels really good. Yeah, man, it's so beautiful. We're so much more capable than what we think we are. You know? Like, we've all heard it said before that we're creatures of habit. I feel it too. You're a charismatic dude. Thank you so much, bro. It's cool to have you here too, man. Somebody who's actually realized that level of prosperity. And you know what's interesting? You, Dog Hugga, that's a funny name, it probably feels normal to you to be a millionaire, right? Like it's not this wild, crazy thing. Like, oh my God, I have so much money in my bank. I'm a millionaire. This is crazy. It probably feels normal. It probably feels regular to have that level of prosperity. In the same way, people who work 9 to 5 jobs, that feels normal. It's normal. I don't feel rich. Right. Exactly. Yet here you are as a millionaire. Isn't that interesting? I think a lot of people limit themselves from ever achieving these high levels of abundance, or even like if, finances aside, having a goal, having a dream or a desire, like wanting a relationship, we pedestalize that shit. We put it way up here. And what that does is it makes it unattainable. You put it out beyond your reach by ascribing such a level of importance to that goal, that dream, that vision, that project. You put it out beyond your reach. You make it unattainable. By giving it that level of increased value and increased importance, you make it that much less likely for you to have it because you're seeing it as a dream. Imagine that. Wow. I can't imagine having that. So you never live in the energy and act from the energy that's necessary in order to make that dream a reality. And when you're able to decrease that level of importance, when you're able to make having that dream fulfilled normal for you, where it's normal to be in a loving relationship, it's normal to be financially abundant, it's normal to be physically healthy, or whatever your thing is, when you normalize your dreams with who you see yourself to be, you begin to naturally think, feel, and act as that person, which is what brings those dreams into reality. But when you put it way up on a pedestal, it isn't able to come into your life. You just live the rest of your life looking up and out at it like, wow, imagine that. You know? There's a quote, it says, when you treat somebody or something like a celebrity, it forces them to treat you like a fan. When you treat somebody or a goal you have like, wow, imagine that, it's broadcasting this energy to the universe that says, I am not somebody who's able to have it. You know? It's almost embarrassing. I don't want people to know. Why is that? Let me ask you this. Is there shame around the feeling of being a millionaire? Because like a lot of people struggle financially. Do you feel almost guilty that you're so financially successful? Because I could dive in talking about that, because that's a really interesting concept. Who is blowing up the hearts? Who is it? I am waiting for another location to pop up. I can wait for it and literally like my love life, waiting for it to appear in my life and not me worrying or searching. Wait, hold on. I am waiting for another location to pop up. I can wait for it and literally like my love life. Oh, I see what you're saying. Me and my ADHD. Oh, dude, I love it. Even the energy, like I feel you in the waiting, but even the energy of waiting, like in a way, you're not even waiting. You're just living your life, you know? Like that's how I feel when it comes to relationships, you know? I'm not sitting here postponing my happiness waiting for a partner, saying I'll be happy when. I'm a hold on. I'm gonna wait for someone. I'm gonna wait for the one, and then I'll be happy. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. Like if I'm in a relationship, I'm living my life in a relationship. If I'm single, I'm living my life single. You know, I don't limit. I don't make me living my life dependent on if I'm in a relationship or not. And that doesn't mean I don't want one. That doesn't mean I'm not open to a relationship. But what it does mean is I'm not waiting to be in one in order to live my life. You know? Not shame, but I'm wary of people being jealous. Jealousy leads to treachery. What does that word mean again? Treachery? And yeah, I feel you. I mean, that's kind of just being modest and polite. And also in a way, it's not really people's business how much money you have, you know? A lot of people like to flaunt it all around though. You know? But no, there's not a problem with that. But also, if the talk of you being a millionaire comes up naturally in conversation, them being jealous is not your responsibility. That's their stuff. That's for them to iron out within themselves. The fact that they're jealous rather than excited, like being in the presence of a millionaire, being like, holy shit, that means money is available. People are like, oh, must be nice for you. That says more about them than it does about you. And yeah, if it comes up naturally in conversation that you're a millionaire, it's not your thing to worry about. That's not your thing to manage if they get all uptight and butthurt that you're financially successful. You see what I'm saying? It's not your problem. And part of that is what I'm saying is don't play small just to make sure people who aren't financially abundant don't get butthurt. That doesn't mean boast and be a douchebag, but it means to just take up the space that you naturally take up. And if it comes up in conversation, own that shit. Yeah, I'm a millionaire, you know? Don't hide it. Don't play small. Like there's this YouTuber that I listen to. His name's Aaron Doughty, and he's like a full-time YouTuber and, you know, financially successful and all this kind of stuff. And he talked about, you know, he's the only one in his family that's ever been like financially successful. And he talks about when he first like started, like went full time on YouTube and was making shitloads of money. You know, he bought this new house. He bought a whole ass house. You know, he was like in his 20s and bought this really nice house. And his family came to visit him, to come and see him, just to hang out or whatever. And what he did was he closed the doors to all the other rooms, and he lied. He said to his family, he said, I have a bunch of roommates. They're just not here right now, and I'm only renting a room in this house. Because he was afraid of making them jealous. He was afraid to admit the fact that he owns this really nice house. You know, so he lied. He played small. He watered himself down to fit what he felt they would be comfortable with, rather than owning it, you know? And I think that's such an interesting story. What did you share? The Lawless Bacon. What's up, bro? A lot of basement dwellers out here covertly envying rich people and using hate as a disguise. I don't know. Other people aren't entitled to my money, but I feel if I could help, I would if I were rich. I'd want to give my parents their dream car if I get rich. That's sweet, man. I love that. I think if I gave anything to my parents, particularly my mom, who's the spiritual witch, funny enough, she's literally my mom, I would want to like travel together. That's what I would want to do. If I pay for anything for my loved ones, it would be to like explore the world. Rather than to buy them stuff, it would be to experience the world together, I think. I had to get surgery on my hand. Damn, really? For what? And yeah, it's really interesting. Like, there is a fine line between jealousy and aspiration, or admiration rather. There's a fine line between feeling threatened and feeling admirable towards somebody. Remember what you told me in Montana? What did I tell you? What did I say? Beautiful, yes. Like, I remember, dude, I was at a, my thumb has a missing bone, and they split one and put a fake one in. Damn. Oh, asking me if I had a choice, my dream car trip. Yes, I do remember that. Oh, shit, man. Holding me to my words. No, I remember being at a Tosh Sultana concert with my mom, actually. And, you know, I'm standing in the crowd, and she's fucking rocking, doing her shit, doing her musician stuff. Like, just owning that shit. It was beautiful. Performing so good. And I suddenly felt threatened. I felt intimidated by her. I felt inferior. I felt, wow, that's really somebody. She's out here owning, successful, just owning her craft, and here I am just in the crowd, just little old me. And then there was this little flip, and I realized that same energy of intimidation that I feel towards her, it's this fine line between that and admiration and feeling excited and saying, if she can do it, so can I. If they have what it takes to be that successful, that means that it's possible to be that successful. And rather than feeling threatened and inferior, feeling excited and uplifted and motivated to build something myself. You know? A lot of people get jealous of somebody's outcome, but not the journey there. That's something I was literally just talking to a client of mine last night about, is we see somebody's outcome and we go, wow, look at that. And then we go, yeah, it must be nice for you. Oh yeah, you're whatever, whatever the thing is that we're jealous of, whether they're in a relationship or financial freedom or whatever the thing is, and we go, must be nice. We're jealous of it. But if you saw the work and the time and the dedication and the doubt and the hard work that they put in to all of it, you wouldn't be jealous of that. You're jealous of their outcome. But the work that it takes to get there, you wouldn't do yourself. You're not jealous of that part, and that's just really interesting to think about. Dream car on a trip. And then when I said which one, you say, how about both? Oh my God, yes, I do remember that. I don't want people to think less of themselves. Some people think that if they're not rich, they're losers. I don't want to cultivate it. No, that's not true at all. And once again, how would you be the one cultivating that? Just by owning the fact that you're financially abundant, that doesn't imply that they must be losers because they're not. So long as you don't believe that yourself, and so long as you're not emitting that energy, that dynamic, once again, bro, that's their problem. If they feel like they're a loser because they don't have as much money as you, that's for them to work on, man. That's not your stuff. Baked beans bath. Thank you for that, Charlie. Irish ducks. You're dropping all the one-liners, man. I love it. I love that you're still hanging out. 1978 Ramdas. Nerdy Andy says, hey, Devin. What's up, bro? How you doing? We are all watching history in the making right here. Right now with your journey. It is still in its infancy, and my God, in the next year, you are going to succeed and get what you desire. Like, Sonia, thank you so much. That means the world to me, man. And just to let you know, you putting that out there and you seeing that on the outside only reveals that that's where you're resonating at within. That energy is already a prerequisite within you. So ditto. Same for you. So sweet. Don't forget us when you become famous. Don't disappear. That's funny, man. I've heard that before. Being like, don't remember us. Don't forget the OGs. And then they never talk to me again, man. It's like, hey, man, you got to stick around. I feel it. I'll never forget you guys. Come on. He is one of the greats, you guys. All right. My little man is growing so fast. Oh my God. That's hilarious. His heart is so pure. Hey, man, once again, it takes one to know one. The fact that you can see it implies it's within you. That's facts. I know, that is funny. You have wisdom, young man. I feel the positive vibe. I'll be back. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. That's beautiful. That message you just sent had like fatherly energy. It felt good. I appreciate you, bro. No, this has been a sick live stream, man. Really good vibes. Really good energy. My little man is growing so fast. That's so funny, dude. No, isn't it true? Isn't it true that if you can see, yeah, like, bruh, what's up, Rob? Yo, dude, let's fucking go. Dog, thank you so much, dude. God damn, you guys. That's crazy. I love you guys so much, for real. Thank you all so much, man. Like, think about this for a second. If you can see wisdom in somebody, how are you able to see it? if you see somebody and say, wow, they're so wise, how do you know that? It's almost like the fact that you're able to even see wisdom in somebody else must mean that it's within you. To be able to even witness it implies that there's a prerequisite within you that understands what wisdom is. Because you can see it shows that it's within you. And the same goes for everything as well. When you see somebody and they have a pure heart and you see a beautiful human being and you say, wow, they are an amazing human being. You can only see it because the prerequisite is within you to know it, what it is. You can only see that which you're able to recognize. And the fact that you're even able to recognize it implies that it's within you. You may just not be living from it and embodying it and expressing it, but then when you see a reflection of it out on the outside, you recognize it. You know? It's beautiful. Palo Santo smudge. I actually don't have it on me right now, but I lit a Palo Santo incense that smells fire. Horses love me for that reason. What do you mean? Yo, what's good? What's up, Legendary? How you doing, man? I appreciate you guys so much. For real. Thank every single one of you. I love you, sweet mama. Thank you for making a beautiful human who has changed my perspective in a lot of ways. In turn, saving my sanity. And now I have a true friend. That is absolutely right, Sonia. I am so grateful that we crossed paths. For real. And we've had like little spans of not talking much, but no, we have absolutely built a beautiful connection over this past year or so. I wonder which live stream it was that you first popped in. So sweet. Doing good. I love to hear it, man. My sister's B-Day just got done celebrating it, and I'm laying in bed chilling. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm just hanging out here, vibing on a live stream, man. I'll probably stick around for a little bit longer. Cash said hi. What's up, bro? That's a funny name. Given what we've been talking about today. What do you mean, of course you skipped me? I didn't skip nothing, bro. When I first arrived, I thought it was only about DMT and psychedelics. Yeah, that does tend to be a popular topic of conversation. And, you know, to be fair, that's what my channel was initially about, was psychedelics, particularly, and like spirituality and that kind of stuff. But, you know, a little over a year now, things have definitely, I've shifted gears, you know. I'm trying to be, well, I'm not trying to be, I am being much more palatable with the things that I'm sharing and expressing, you know, rather than talking about it's all one. Oh my God, it's all one. The self doesn't exist. You know, a lot of people aren't ready to vibe with that stuff, you know, and I'm trying to work towards sharing things in a way that are easy to digest and resonate with where a lot of people are at, which is becoming a healthy human being, first and foremost. The first live, I think you were fighting with trolls. That is what stopped me from scrolling. Then I stayed and listened, and the rest is history. Oh, I love it, dude. Yeah, fighting with trolls. That sounds about right. Oh, that's so funny, dude. That's so funny. And he skipped me again. Cash, why are you so uptight, brother? You don't give me any time, dude, to even read the messages. I'm reading them all. At least I know. What do you mean? I love it all the same. I can't leave. Charlie, I love you, bro. I love you. It's unique because we have our own spirit, mama. Isn't that sweet, dude? It's such a beautiful environment, man. My literal mother is here. She's all of your mom as well, by the way. She's your guys' spirit mama. That's so sweet. Are you keeping it 100? To the best of my capabilities, brother. That's right. Do you like horror movies? If so, got any recommendations? Dude, horror movies just so happen to be my favorite kind of movie. And also, like, it's funny because I'm so stubborn when it comes to stuff like that. I only watch horror movies. And it doesn't have to be like cringy, like jump scare, typical horror movie. It's also like psychologically mind fucky stuff. You know, I love that stuff. Mama, what was the name of that movie we watched on Christmas Eve with it was a spin-off of The Shining. Insidious is good. Yep. Mother hen looking after her babies, yes. Yeah, what was the name of that movie we watched? Because that is my recommendation right now. I forget exactly what it's called. Maybe she'll remember. Thanya, who was here first, you or me? Charlie, I feel like you were here first, bro. To be completely honest. Oh my god, I can't remember. Yeah, it was a really far out movie. But yeah, it's like, look up The Shining spin-off movie or something. But it was really far out and kind of seemed like it was portraying like shit, like conspiratorial shit, you know? But it was about this group of what were they, magicians or some shit that fed on the souls of like children and would scare them and harvest their mist, I think they called it, or their steam or whatever, and would like live on the energy. They would kill these children and then absorb their fucking souls basically, and that would allow them to live like indefinitely, you know. And it was so interesting, man. It was so interesting where it was about Dr. Sleep. Wait, is that it? Dude, I think that's it. Yes. Yes. Dr. Sleep. Bruh. That movie, first of all, we watched it on Christmas Eve, which was funny as fuck, because the kids were like, why are we watching a scary movie on Christmas Eve? And it's like, because that's all I watch, bruh. No, we all agreed upon it. But no, that movie was really good, dude. Really good. It was messed up. Yeah. My favorite part of that was the crossover of how that little girl and Dr. Sleep were aware of the wrongdoing of those other psychically capable beings. That was my favorite part about it. And how they started fucking with them. That was really far out. God, my typos. I just watched Pootie Tang. I don't know what that is. Just watched The Ring recently, only new faves. Also, I love the movie Thanksgiving and Final Destination. Yeah, I don't feel like I've ever watched The Ring in full. That's one of those OG scary movies, though, for sure. The Grudge is another OG. Thanks for the recommendations. Yeah, straight up, watch that movie, Dr. Sleep. You won't regret it. And it's not... You guys should watch Split. Is that the one with the guy that has no Grudge? No, dude, Grudge is good. Come on. That shit's got such messed up scenes. Oh my god. Split is a good movie. That's the one with the guy with... I don't know if I'd spoil it by saying it, but yeah, watch Split. No, that's Patricia. Charlie, I think you know the movie Split. You a fan of Full Moon Features movies? Puppet Master series? I don't know either of those things. Yeah, I don't know what that is. The Ring is really good. Samara is such a good killer. What is Samara? I don't know what that is. Hello, my children, Turbo Christ says. What's up, bro? The all fours running scene was dumb. Yeah, they can really overdo it in scary movies, man. And I'll tell you this right now. If a scary movie's only scary scenes is jump scenes, that's not a fair scary movie. We can't help but go like jump when something fucking pops out. That's just fucking evolution, bruh. That ain't scary. You just scared me. I could pop out around a corner and scare you more intensely than the way those movies. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not a fair like scary movie. Scary movie is something that like messes with your head, you know? Do you want to wrestle? Hulk Hogan? I thought you passed away, dude. I like dark psychology horror. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know like I like the ones where you can't tell if what you're seeing in the movie is reality or like some fucking vision, or you can't really tell if it's the past or the future. Like when all that shit starts crossing over, those are the kind of movies I like. Samara is the girl in the TV. If you watch it, it makes a lot more sense. I like it for the plot, not as much the scares. I still love the horror. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I should watch it back. Maybe I'll watch it tonight all alone. Shutter Island. I feel like I've heard of that. Pandorum and the Divide. Horror is one of my favorite genres, but there's not many that truly terrify you. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't know the extent to which you're describing being like truly terrified, but I've definitely watched movies that are like, that's fucked up, you know? Have you seen that movie? I feel like you're baiting me in some kind of way. Gotta go. Have an amazing night, man. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for hanging out too. I hope you have a good one too. Shutter Island is a mind thriller. What happened? Very good. Twisty. Yeah, I feel like I've heard of that one. Not really a horror movie, but Jaws messed me up really bad. Not so much during the movie, but the effect afterwards. Yeah, that shit messed with me as a kid too. That kind of stuff was messed up when I was younger. Fucking shark movies were scary. Some were so cringy though. You know the fucking movie Sharknado? Like, really? A tornado of sharks? Whose idea was that? Who thought that was a good idea? My man Hard Luck Raw advertising himself. All the power to you, man. I thought it was. I was high. Wait, what are you saying there? Accidentally watched Critters as a kid. I have a panic attack even now if I see the images or my mom is watching it. My God. Critters, I don't know that one. We just got banned from another chat because they said our tracks were too gangsta for them. Wow, that's pretty intense, man. I'm not gonna call you too gangster. You're out here doing work, bro. Marketing, networking. Ban him. No, he's fine. He's fine. If he starts spamming, that'd be a different story. But my man's out here getting his, bro, doing what he needs to do to get recognized and get notoriety and reach. You know, maybe I should start scrolling through live streams advertising my coaching services. Does that feel aligned with who I am? Ban who? I don't know who. I think he might be talking about you. Yeah, he's talking about you. Stuff like blackouts where people divorce themselves from their morals and others lose their sanity as everything safe and comfortable. That's another really good plot too, is people that slowly lose their fucking mind. That's a good one. Ban who? I think we're talking about... Yeah, he's just joshing you, bro. Rob, that looks funny. That smiley face looks like it has a mustache the way you wrote it. We ain't harming no one. Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong. Like I said, though, if you kept like spamming the advertisement, that'd be a way different thing. So let's do some more advertising, man. What are you doing? Are you making beats? Is that what you're doing? We ain't harming no one. I like how you're just fucking rewriting what he wrote. I'm tired, guys. Join the Discord. Yeah, I have a Discord, and I'd love to see you guys in there. I don't know how many... Charlie's in there, Rob's in there, Sonia's in there, my mom is in there. There's only a other couple people watching right now, I think. What's the link? Rob, go to my YouTube channel, and there's a link at the top. It says join the Inner Shift Society. That's it. Why is you copying, bro? You play any instruments? I do not play any instruments. Nope. I can play the guitar a little bit. Like I can play like the beginning 10-second riffs of like a shitload of different songs, but I can't play a full song all the way through. I don't know chords, you know? I like learn by ear. Yeah. That's all I've actually like played with the guitar, but I don't play anymore really. You appear like more of a harmonica type of fellow. Really? I need a straw hanging out my mouth like with a cowboy hat. Hey, is that the Discord link? Is that it? Yo, oh my god, I'm so glad it actually came back. I thought it did that thing. Yo, Fresh Baked Tots just joined. Let's fucking go. Hell yeah. You finally joined, bro. Not even the handpan? You look like you would beat the hell out of a handpan. That's so funny. Dude, fucking just going to town on a handpan. Man. No, handpans are a beautiful instrument. I like Indian instruments. I had a harmonium, but I sold it. That's a beautiful fucking instrument. Sounds so divine. I have a box tanpura. You know what? You know what, guys? Hold up. Hold the fuck up. You guys are about to see some cool shit. Here's my tempura. We gonna play this shit. Yeah, you might want to get out of here, honey. You might want to get out of here, baby. You guys ready? Show us your secret meth lab under your landlord's room. Oh, God, dude. What are you talking about, Rob? Check this out, guys. Rock sitar. Yo, dude, that's fire. I love that. I haven't played this in a minute, and I'm probably going to have to tune it by ear. Jesus, we need to boil. Bruh. Do the roar. Devin would rock a sitar. I love instruments like that. All right, I think we got it. So this is a tanpura, and it doesn't have any notes or frets. They're 4 strings that are tuned to just 4 notes, and you just play them rhythmically, and it creates this droning sound effect. It's not really tuned right. Oops. Okay, those are the same. You hear it? What the fuck are you talking about, Charlie? Chill, bruh. Size doesn't matter, Charlie. You hear that vibe, though? As somebody with a really small YouTube channel, size doesn't matter, man. That's so funny. Tempura battered fish. Oh my god. I love that sound. Isn't that beautiful? So this is a really small, Charlie, box tempura. Usually they're huge. No, for real though. Usually they're made from a gourd with a long ass neck. And also, this one is a little bit dysfunctional because the strings are too close together. And I accidentally silence out a string when I play it. They're supposed to just keep flowing. You just keep playing it rhythmically. Isn't that beautiful? Thoroughly go to bed. Or church, right. That works too. Bed or church. Yeah, that's funny. $50 of Devon. Get out of here, dude. Remember when my username was Northwood Shaman? Dude, there's a whole ass leaf, bro, that fell out of the gig bag. The gig bag. I'm feeling goofy. It's almost time to go. I don't know where this leaf is from, but it's going back in the gig bag. The gig bag. Thank you for showing us. That was cool. Yeah, dude. Of course. That's what I'm here for. The gig bag. Nice to meet you. Gig bag. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Yes, I had a feeling you would appreciate that. I will share my cello tomorrow. Yes, dude. Yeah. Is a cello different than a double bass? I love chords and droning sounds and resonance. That's why this is my favorite Indian instrument, is a tanpura. Fucking love it, dude. It's fucking big. Yeah, my friend Jake has a double bass. So beautiful, dude. And I love it because it's fretless. Where like on a fretted guitar, you like when you change a note, it's abrupt. It goes doom 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 doom. But with a fretless, like a cello or a double bass or whatever, and like stuff that doesn't have those ridges, those frets, when you raise up the notes, it goes doom. It flows, so you can get that slide effect, like, and it's beautiful because I love pitch changes in chords and stuff like that, and it's beautiful sounding. I play bass. Do you really? Like a bass guitar or a this or this? Can you play Twinkle Twinkle Little Twinkle Twinkle? No. I have an upright piano. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Josh, what's good, man? Haley wants me to play Cotton Eye Joe on this fretless 4-stringed tanpura. What other songs can you play? That's so funny because this is all this thing does. What I'm doing. It's about tuning into the vibration. Tune into how horribly I'm playing it. Do Freebird, you guys. I just started shredding some shit. Dude, I wonder if I can slide on this bitch. Hold on. I need something glass-like. 1 second. Let's look for it together. Hold on. You can make a slide out of like a lot of shit, like this right here. This incense holder. Hold on. Use a shot glass. Well, I don't have a shot glass. Charlie. Use a bow. I do not have. All right, this is where we find out if I can use a power drill. Hold on. Maybe I can do it like this. You hear that? Dude, there's got to be something smoother than this. Can you hear me trying to play? You guys know the little, the little guitar solo in "Scar Tissue" by Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, this chick is wild. I'm so sorry to all of you who are coming in and witnessing whatever the fuck is happening right now. You missed the main gig, and now you're just getting the ending vibes. He making cartoon sound effects, people. $10 a pop, yeah. What's up, Tess? Good to see you, bro. I'm just fucking around. Bro, I got this bitch sounding like a sitar. What am I doing, bro? Who's the lesbian bud tender with the sither? What? Y'all know them farts that are like... What the fuck? Bruh. Never trust the mustard farts. What is a mustard fart, dude? Dude, this is funny as fuck. I gotta admit, despite the fact that I'm not playing anything substantial at all, I got this bitch sounding like a sitar right now. Oh, you got Tamarin laughing. Dude, that's so fucking funny, dude. Your cats are going to be meowing back. Yeah, that sounds kind of like a cat meow. Oh shit. I want to start ripping some Pink Floyd on this bitch, bro. I'm sorry, I'm more fascinated in what I'm doing now than the fact that I'm live on YouTube. Play some Tool. Oh, shit. I love Tool, by the way. I'm trying to play, what is it? Fear Inoculum? bitch gotta be way lower. This is strangely entertaining to the 10th degree. Shit, man. I wish I could play some shit for you guys. Yeah, that's not the side that we want. Tell me that don't sound like a sitar. I start doing I completely shift gears from making self-transformation content to being like a sound healing YouTuber. I go get my fucking singing bowl. Boom. Sounds like a frisky cat. This is my cat in the middle of the night. Fuck this, dude. I'm gonna be a sound healer. Is this healing, guys? Okay, all right. One more. Oh, yeah. One more little run of the Tanpura. Laughter is the best medicine. That's facts, bro. One more little legitimate run of this beautiful instrument. Oh. These two middle ones have to be exactly the same note. I think that's good. Oh, that ain't right, brother. Alrighty. That's all she wrote, brother. What do you guys think? I think it's bedtime. I think it is bedtime. I feel more traumatized, actually. God damn, bro. I'm sorry. Oh. It's like midday. Well, for you. I think 12-string guitars are underrated. My favorite instrument. No shit, dude. I can't even play a 6-string, bro. Sleep well, dreams, sweet dreams. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna head out. It's been really fun, though. I fucking love you guys so much. It's been a really good time. For those of you that are just joining, I'm sorry. I've been on here for quite a bit. A little over an hour. Night-night. I love you, Rob. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. And yeah, for any of you new homies, Tess, I don't know if you're in my Discord or if you have Discord, but yeah, anybody that's not in my Discord community, I have a beautiful Discord community with all these beautiful people in it. And if you're not in it right now, I would love to see you there. Yep, that's it right there. Discord.gg. Click that link if you want to join the Discord. It's not always super active, but it's beautiful. It's basically just like a huge group chat where we can all talk whenever the hell we want. You know, so I would love to see you guys there. And other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. Hit me up on Discord. Yeah, dude, join it, brother. Join it, brother. I would love to see you on there, man. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Stay tuned on the channel, of course. Maybe I'll do a little surprise live stream this weekend like I did last weekend. Those are really fun. But yeah, thank you, Oscar. I love you, bro. Sonia, I love you. Charlie, I love you. Tess, Rob, all the homies, I love you. Josh, if you're still here, I love you guys so freaking much. Have an amazing rest of your night or amazing rest of your day, whatever it is for you. And yeah, maybe I'll do a live stream this weekend. Otherwise, I hope to see you on the channel in my long form videos. And I'll see you guys on another live stream next Thursday. So see you guys later. Thank you for hanging.